Everton are cruising along nicely. They were disappointed to drop points at home to Reading last week, but David Moyes' team has lost just once in the last 5 league games. There are 3 changes from the Everton lineup that faced Reading. Gary Naismith is out injured, so Julian Lescott moves to left back, with Alan Stubbs coming into the centre of defence. The Everton manager also changes his wide positions in midfield. Mikel Arteta returns after suspension on the right, and Simon Davis comes in on the left.
Well, I think this is Everton's best formation and certainly gets the best out of some of their key players. You know, apart from that blip against Blackburn in the FA Cup, I think they've generally defended quite well, and that slight change in bringing in Alan Stubbs shouldn't really disrupt them greatly. I think nice balance across the midfield. Lee Carsley just offering that protection to the back four. It's the likes of Cahill, Arteta and Osman that'll look to spring forward and just add that surprise element. And certainly join Andy Johnson, who looks very, very sharp at the moment.
Well, Wigan have taken only 11 points from 11 games at the JJB, and that's reflected at the gate. Home crowds are down by over 3,000 on last season, with Wigan's average attendance falling to 17,500. That's the lowest in the Premiership. The fans haven't seen their team win at home for over 2 months now, and although they were warned about second season syndrome that seems to affect most clubs new to the Premiership, no one really thought it would be quite as bad as this. Remember, if Wigan are beaten again, they'll create an unwanted piece of club history today. Since they joined the league almost 30 years ago, no Wigan team has ever lost 8 games in a row. The pressure's really on them today.
Well, it is, and it's what I said at the top, Alan. It's about probably the man management skills of Paul Jewell. I mean, it's already been identified that while he has been in charge of this football club, they've had more or less success all the way along from the early days in the lower divisions right through the Premiership. Had a great first season, but it's reality check time now, and you know, these are defining moments. Games like Everton today, the big moments, and he's hoping his players can stand up. But I just think that they've missed some very key players, people like Camara and Shauna in particular, De Gea, who's been an absolute man mountain at the heart of that back four for them. They've all been out in recent weeks, and I just don't think Wigan, with the squad that they've got, really can afford to lose such key players.
Just the 5th meeting between Wigan and Everton, and the only time Everton have beaten their opponents was the first ever meeting in an FA Cup tie 27 years ago. Well, relegation is an ugly word, but it's now a very real threat for Paul Jewell's team. And Everton come here today determined to make Wigan's life even more miserable. We're live at the JJB, it's Wigan against Everton, and it's live. Well, this time last year, Wigan were in the top 6 of the Premiership and looking forward to their first ever major cup final, but the euphoria of life at the top has disappeared to be replaced by the cold reality of a relegation battle, and this is a match that Wigan need to win. If the league table was based on the last 6 games, Wigan would be rock bottom with no points, and in the real table after 22 games they find themselves just 2 points above the relegation places. There'll be a nervousness about Wigan early on here. Everton in their change strip of yellow shirts and black shorts. Simon Davis on the ball for them. Back to the skipper Neville. First clearance by David Unsworth, making his home debut for Wigan against the club he left just 2 weeks ago. Kevin Kilban also came here, of course, from Everton this season, with former Liverpool men Chris Kirkland and Emile Heskey in their team. This is almost a local derby. And of course, Wigan have a Scouser in Paul Jewell on the touchline. Away again by Unsworth. Baines completing the clearance, and he too was at Everton as a schoolboy. Quite a few Merseyside connections here on this blustery, cold day. In fact, we've had a dose of every kind of weather today. Sunshine, hail, rain, wind, cold.
It certainly won't be easy, I think, for this Wigan side. I mean, they want to impose themselves very early, but I have to say the playing surface isn't the best. A lot of rain, as you rightly said, Alan, has fallen in the last 24 hours, and it's certainly cutting up already. So maybe you just have to play this sort of percentage game. Get the ball into areas and look for your players like McCulloch and Heskey to chase.
Johnson doing extremely well to keep that in play. It was a good ball as well in the end to Arteta on the far post. First corner of the game to Everton.
Whatever ceases to amaze me, the mobility of Andy Johnson. Finds himself into such good areas of the field. And he's not an imposing striker in the sense of an Emile Heskey. He's not 6'3" and very, very powerful. What he is, he's cunning, he's bright. He always looks to run into areas that are always going to trouble defenders.
Of aerial power in this Everton side, with Lescott and Stubbs prominent. Cahill also a good header of the ball. He went for it. He was happy to let that run for a throw. Back to Neville. Happy birthday to him today, by the way. He's 30. A little bit younger than Mark Buckland, who's also celebrating a birthday today. And a considerably better player.
I can only think that he got that tie as a birthday present, because you wouldn't buy that for yourself, would you?
I'll leave him to answer that at half-time. Cahill up well. Johnson using his pace to get in again.
Good play, wasn't it, between Cahill and Johnson? I mean, the two of the back four, Boyce and Hall, will know all about this fella. Played with him, of course, at Crystal Palace. He's very lively. Again, great movement.
Everton, of course, have drawn rather too many games for their liking this season. 8 in all. There's only a couple of Premiership teams who've drawn more than that. Another draw for them today. They would go 8th in the table, above Tottenham on goal difference.
It's interesting, when we went out and about in the stadium beforehand, and we were interviewing one or two of the Wigan fans, and they were saying it's about the fans and the reception they give their own players to really lift them. Well, I don't think that's really transformed itself so far, because at the moment it just seems to be the Everton fans we can hear.
Yes, the home supporters quiet and apprehensive. They have lost their last 7 games in League and FA Cup. Just 1 win in the last 12 for Wigan. Leave it to the goalkeeper. There's Kirkland, who's conceded 13 goals in his last 4 league games. Heskey an obvious target here. He's gone instead for Kilban. He dealt with that threat. Free kick in a very dangerous position here. Cahill complaining to referee Howard Webb.
Just a little nudge from Cahill on Lanzak, just on the edge of the box. You can see there that he's just trying to protect himself, but just enough of a push that convinced the referee that it was a free kick in a dangerous position. Now, Everton got themselves into a lot of trouble last week against Everton, and they piled in a lot of players in front of Tim Howard, and it cost them a goal. Well, this time, it looks as if they've learnt their lesson. The manager David Moyes took responsibility for that, of course, after the game. I'm not sure how much he's going to get a clear sight of this.
It looks as though it's going to be lined up for Skoko, but I would imagine Baines would pose the biggest threat here. And it is Baines who takes it in the end, not very well.
I would have expected him to do better, wouldn't it, with his left foot. It's the same position that you saw Morgan Pedersen score for Blackburn Rovers yesterday. They needed that sort of quality.
That was a foul, surely. Mr. Webb have a look at the challenge. Heskey gets on with it meanwhile, and he's got support as well. Into the side netting, and in the end from Luis Valencia.
Well, he never really had it under control, did he, Valencia? McCulloch does brilliant, he's still on the floor. There's a real clash of heads, but then we saw the power of Emile Heskey. This is what George was talking about at the top of the show. This is what he's capable of. You're really bullying defenders, and that's exactly what he did there. And really, it didn't sit kindly for Valencia, but saying all that, he didn't really get after it with any clear determination. And then it was about the narrowness of the angle, and he made it quite comfortable for Tim Howard. But that was the clash between Yobo and McCulloch.
decent save by Tim Howard. And it's earned Wigan their first corner. Very, very blustery conditions again now. It's going to be really difficult for the goalkeeper and defenders to judge the flight of the ball. Meanwhile, still down to 10 men here, with McCulloch receiving treatment.
Be keen to get him in the box from this set piece. I mean, he'll probably have to leave the field. That's exactly what is going to happen. So they're one light really from an important set piece.
Van will deliver. Crowd of players on the near post. Howard trying to find a way through that crowd. The delivery could have been better. He's got a second chance though, Kevin Kilban. And much better ball in this time. Howard with a spectacular punch away. Everton finally clear the threat. Johnson a lone figure in the Wigan half. It's not been the most stylish opening to this game, but we can't really overstate how difficult conditions are.
Also the predicament that Wigan find themselves in as well. I mean, they're not coming into this game in any real form or confidence. Well, it's a shame because when we were here in the game against Chelsea, I thought they were absolutely outstanding in the second half, really deserved a point, and it cruelly cost them 3 points with that goal from Arjen Robben in the last minute.
Johnson's header to no one. It's a poor clearance, a shout for the home fans for a handball, but it's not been given. And a lovely turn by Osman. Just went the wrong side there, and if he'd gone to the left of the defender, he would have had a clear run on goal.
Well, Fitzhall's a lucky boy. Some poor defending on his part there.
And Osman again involved. McCulloch's layoff to Valencia. On it goes for Heskey. Stubbs at full stretch. Heskey retains possession well. Now Kevin Kilban with the drive.
Decent, wasn't it? Gets onto his favoured left foot. Tim Howard's not particularly happy with Phil Neville. He thought he should have really closed him down a bit sooner than what he did. Good breakaway though from Wigan. Good pace, good determination. Again, Emil Heskey involved, and really Kevin Kilban's mind is made up for him because the angle's always going to be tight for him to play it into the box. But this is the Leon Osman chance where he turns away from Fitzhall. Poor defending from the Wigan central defender, and it's a good job that David Unsworth was bright and alert to the situation.
Good work again by Unsworth. Baines with the long ball. Away by Yobo, who slid in on Heskey. Mr. Webb again waves play on Neville. Cahill on to Stubbs. Neville almost lost possession, but finds Osman. Davis, who struggled to get a regular place in the Everton team this season. The Welsh international, the subject of speculation that he could be moving on before the end of the month. Neville. Osman.
Space is very much a premium at the moment, isn't it? Both sets of players working hard to close each other down in possession. Osman's been fairly prominent, not having to play wide today. He's a lot more in field, seems to be enjoying it. If Cahill's not getting forward, he's got an opportunity to do that.
Carsley, too far for Cahill. Two former teammates collide.
It could be an important signing, couldn't it? David Unsworth, especially with Arjen Dezu being out the last few weeks. A lot of experience for David Unsworth. Been around at the top flight for a lot of years.
There's Lescott. Cahill up well, Johnson pursuing it, but he'll never reach that ball. Right up into the strong wind there by Kirkland, and it really held Unsworth. Cleared by Stubbs. Bit too much of an aerial battle at the moment, really. Got along the ground this time, 2 stubs.
I don't think Wigan will mind making it an aerial battle, because I think they probably have 1 or 2 more players who've got a height advantage over the Everton players, particularly the front 2. I think I talked earlier about playing percentages, get it forward into areas where the likes of McCulloch and Heskey can do some damage.
There's Johnson for Everton, on to Arteta. The Spaniard waiting for Lescott to arrive, which he did a little late. But still gets his cross in. Davis waiting to pounce. Comes out to Neville. Good physical challenge by Heskey. Everton have it back with Carsley. And now Davis. In behind Johnson. Second opportunity to get it right. Carsley. Yobo. Johnson making the run. Unsworth was aware of that. So he should be. He's come up against him many times in training, of course.
He's had plenty to do so far, hasn't he, David Unsworth? Heading stuff away or clearing it with his left foot. Everton have started the game very brightly.
Yobo. Here's Davis. Plenty in the box here for Everton, including Osman. Tiny figure, but got up well. Cahill just beaten to the dropping ball. They settle down well here, Everton. Yobo. Unsworth there again to deny them. Now Baines.
He's unlucky there, Leighton Baines. He's trying to play that ball into an area and allow Lee Culloch just to put Joseph Yobo under a wee bit of pressure in behind Phil Neville. Done very well, hasn't he, this season, Leighton Baines, but been a problem as a team, really, to get results.
Wigan have now gone 6 home games without a win, and they've failed to score in 5 of them. The home fans here haven't seen their team win at the JJB since they beat Charlton over 2 months ago. Terrific run down the right-hand side, but it came to nothing.
Well, the low went out of play. What he has done, Emerson Boyce, is just get a little bit of the support back on their own side, because they've been a little bit subdued, these Wigan fans. That runs like this will certainly generate a little bit more noise.
Got a little push there from Cahill. David Unsworth began his career, of course, at Everton. He made his debut for them 15 years ago now, and went on to make over 350 appearances for the Toffees. His free kick over McCulloch's head, away by Lescott. Hall. Clever flick by Lanzat, but then given away by McCulloch. Excellent play by Boyce. Heskey rose brilliantly. McCulloch, Lanzat. Good build-up this by Wigan. Heskey loses out in the end. Valencia. Cleverly enough, Stoker wins the throw.
Just trying to move the ball around quickly, aren't they, at the moment, Wigan? It's very difficult. You can see there that Everton having slightly better of play. Real surprising, but I think Cahill and Johnson, they've looked a little bit more threatening than the front 2 of Wigan at the moment.
Unsworth arrows one in for Heskey again. Wasn't too bad an effort by Denny Lanzat.
Well, it might be route 1, but I think that Wigan have got to do this a little bit more, especially with the front 2 that they're playing, Heskey and McCulloch, because you're not really going to run in behind people that often, but they are going to put the 2 centre-backs under pressure. And then if you can get 1 or 2 midfield players, like Lancet we've just seen there, just supporting the play, you might just get some bits and pieces dropping to you on the edge of the box.
Lost cause there for Simon Davis. Everton's form on the road this season has been disappointing. They've only won 1 of their last 9 away games and 2 wins all season. Their next game is also away. A short trip though. They play Liverpool. Cahill finds Johnson. Cleared by Hall. And Yobo couldn't go back to his goalkeeper. That route was cut off by McCulloch.
Paul Jewell just down on the touchline, his technical area. Giving Emil Heskey a little bit of applause and a lift for chasing that ball down against Joseph Yobo. And McCulloch having to work hard for whatever they get so far.
On by Kilban to McCulloch. And the referee didn't like the challenge. Everton get the free kick.
It was just the intent, wasn't it? I don't think he catches Arteta. Interesting week for Lee McCulloch. A little bit disappointed, of course, that Paul Jewell didn't grant his wish to allow him to move to Rangers, but he's got to focus on picking some points up for his Wigan side.
And they tell me here is the kind of player who will be fully concentrated today. What's gone on in the week won't make any difference to his attitude on the field. Carsley defending well against the pacey Valencia.
I don't think Carsley gets the credit he deserves at times, you know. He's found himself back into the side, just playing in front of the back four. Reads the game very well. Nice and tidy when he's in possession.
Skoko on to Boyce. Valencia with a layoff to the fullback. And Valencia going in hard to win that one. And once again it was Carsley doing the hard work.
It's been tough for Wigan to try and work any real opens in wide positions, either Kilban on this left-hand side or Valencia over on that right. They certainly need to do that and get decent balls into the front too, then they might have a chance against Yobo and Stubbs.
Baines closed down quickly by Davis. You don't let him have a sided goal. Heskey's done well. McCulloch with the shot, didn't catch it cleanly.
Oh, good idea. But once again, the power of Emil Heskey just shrugging aside the challenge from Alan Stubbs. And if they do get decent service into these front two, I think they've got the capabilities of giving Yobo and Stubbs plenty of problems.
Valencia. Stubbs with the interception. Carsley. Osman. And now Davis. Here's Neville for Everton. Johnson. Wigan beat mostly Everton, or rather the Wigan players for pace, that's for sure. Gets it in towards Osman. Cahill onto the loose ball. Here's Arteta. Cahill again.
Tay, wasn't it? Disappointing finish for a player of Tim Cahill's ability. Well, they passed the ball around well here. Everton just very patient, waiting for the opportunity to come their way, and when it does, you really expect him to do better than that. Tim Cahill, no real power.
Neville. Good work by Heskey. Hall. He's certainly using his strength in every situation.
It's actually good defending from Philip Neville. Got himself into a position where it would make it difficult for Emil Heskey to win the header. Good experience in the Everton right back.
Baines. Kilban. Baines has continued his run down the left flank. Up against Yobo. Everton worked hard to get that back, but Davis has rather untidily given it away. Kilban. There's Fitzhall for Wigan. At every opportunity they seek out Emil Heskey, who was seeking a free kick but didn't get one.
Well, they took two of them, didn't they? to deal with the situation. He really does get sandwiched there, Emil Heskey.
Clearance by Baines has found Valencia. And again, Kirkland looking for Heskey, up against Stubbs this time. Lescott, who's played quite a few games for Everton in that left-back role.
That's better from Wigan. They have got a little bit of route one, and not really a surprise given the predicament that they're in, and probably the state of the pitch as well. It makes it very difficult for any player to just settle on the ball and pick passes. Interesting that Wigan share this with the rugby team. A similar situation down at Reading with their pitch share with a rugby side also, and no real coincidence that their pitch looked in a very, very poor state yesterday.
Looking for McCulloch this time. Yobo came in hard on his back, but no free kick. Arteta, Osman. Now Cahill. This is Davis for Everton. Neville. Good pressure that from McCulloch.
It was excellent play, wasn't it? I mean, Everton worked it well over on this right-hand side, and you thought Phil Neville might have just probed forward, but instead McCulloch forced himself into a position where he had to go backwards. Sometimes if you're not playing well and you're not getting results, then it really is about how hard you can work, and you might just graft your way to a little bit of joy.
Short, that ball from Yobo, he's got away with it. Arteta. Great ball. Davis. Johnson was the man he was looking to pick out.
He did a better ball, really, didn't it? Simon Davis had a lot of time there to pick out a couple of Everton players.
Wigan can get going with a vengeance here. Heskey has found a way through. But the flag has gone up.
That was an interesting one because he was working his way backwards. And then when Skoko played that ball to him, you can see there that Emil Heskey just ambling back when the ball's played. Yeah, he's in an offside position. As soon as he touches it, flag goes up. No real complaints there.
And this time last year, Paul Jewell's team, of course, were in the top half dozen in the Premiership. The Carling Cup final against Manchester United was in the planning. But it's been very, very difficult for him and his team this time round. Kilban. Dispossessed by Arteta. Neville. On to Johnson. Heskey. To the anger of the home fans here. Cahill has earned a free kick.
Well, you're not going to get a moment, are you, to get your foot on the ball, that's for sure. Interesting that Everton have just switched Arteta and Davis around, thinking that might give them a little bit of joy down on this right-hand side. Arteta, who, of course, did a great job for David Moyes' side, linking up with Philip Neville just before he got that suspension.
Plenty of effort, plenty of commitment, but not enough quality as yet here in the opening 25 minutes. There's Osman, half hits his shot. A hurried ball forward there by David Unsworth. He had more time than he realised. Everton come forward again with Yobo. Gifted straight back to Baines. There's Osman. Tarsley. There's not a lot of attractive football being played out there, let's be honest.
No, there isn't. I mean, we've talked already some of the reasons why, but you're just hoping one or two of the quality players out there can really get their foot on the ball and just show a little bit more composure.
As Arteta did then to pick out Neville. Neville first there again. forward by Kilban. That could turn out to be a good ball. Stubbs read it well.
It's not an easy one for him to come back into the side, is it, Alan Stubbs? I mean, he's a very experienced defender, but he's up against two very strong and imposing figures in Heskey and McCulloch.
Well, he's missed a few games with a knee injury, Alan Stubbs. Only played about a dozen times anyway this season. Heskey there again. McCulloch in behind Skoko, who did well to retrieve it. Davis working hard. Hall on to Valencia. Unsworth. To backpedal, but he reached it and finds Davis. It's gone out though.
You won't mind playing that ball, David Unsworth. Well, a favoured one for him. From left to right, good left foot. And so far it's been very prominent and noticeable that when their two centre-backs have got the ball, they've just thrown it forward early and let the front two scrap amongst the two centre-backs.
Wigan were beaten 3-0 here by Blackburn in their last home game, and they've suffered no fewer than 6 defeats at the JJB this season. Heskey really collided there with Carsley as the ball is played in over McCulloch's head. Bangs with the shot. He's just about picked himself up from that collision.
It's certainly encouraging for Wigan to see Baines get forward and have a little pop from around about 20-25 yards, but Emil Heskey just catches Lee Carsley. Once again, Carsley just trying to protect these two centre-backs.
He's hardly missed a game this season, in contrast to last season when he was out for most of the campaign with a knee problem. Baines. Forward by Kilban for Heskey to chase. But not enough accuracy on the pass, and frustration for Emil Heskey, who's been as effective so far as any player out there.
Well, he's put in a good shift, hasn't he? And I think you need that from all your players on days like today.
Played by Boyce. Arteta has brought one or two much needed moments of quality to the opening half an hour. Here's Carsley. Neville. Carsley trying to play it over the top for Johnson. Thumps his clearance into the crowd.
That ball probably needs an aspirin at the moment. That's not been the most pleasing on the eye football matches, but both managers would probably know that. So who's prepared to win the scrap and the battle? That's the important factor. Done very well, hasn't he, David Moyes, in his time in charge of Everton. Not really had a huge amount of money to spend in the transfer market. What he has done, he spent very wisely. Andy Johnson, of course, for one, who's fought a long battle up front so far in this game. Proved to be a fantastic acquisition. Tim Cahill from midfield, who has also weighed in with a lot of important goals for this Everton side.
With Unsworth. Heskey. Unsworth knew he couldn't go back to Kirkland. He can't take any risk with Johnson around. Always liable to pounce on anything under hit. Arteta. Clever ball, back for Neville. Unsworth has got a very effective home debut so far. He was on the end of that cross as well. that doing well. Boyce. It goes to McCulloch. Heskey's up with him. Well defended by Yobo. Cahill. There's Lescott, who's had a very successful first season at this level. When he was at Wolves and they got promoted, he was injured for the whole of their season in the Premiership. Johnson. Did well, Johnson, to earn the corner.
Tell you what he did do well, Alan, is when he got that ball over on that left-hand side, there was no Everton player really in an advanced position, so he just held it and held it and held it, and by the time he won a corner, they had 3 or 4 players in the box.
It's been so untidy from open play that you would expect set pieces to be the likeliest route to a goal today. Stones was always stretching to reach that ball. Goes back in, and Lescott's in there. Kirkland took a wild swing at it.
Well, it was a good header in the end from Fitzhall, and he really took the matter out of the hands of his goalkeeper. Felt he had to, because Julian Lescott looked as if he might just nick in it with a header. Seems to have hurt his shoulder or his elbow, was it? No stranger to injuries, is it? Chris Kirkland been very, very unlucky.
Carsley. Scott cut out by Kilban, but the belated whistle signifies a free kick for Everton.
Yeah, I think that's good refereeing from Howard. He's just really looking to see whether Everton got advantage from the ball by Lescott. That didn't happen, so he's just brought play back. Tremendous ratio of winning headers, hasn't he, Tim Cahill? Up against players that look far bigger than him, but at times he's leaped to perfection. Fitzhall, who did very well from the last ball in from Arteta, probably prevented his side Wigan from conceding a goal.
Foul by Kazi. Ironic cheers from the JJB faithful, directed at Mr. Webb, who they believe hasn't been too sympathetic to their cause so far.
It's amazing how it takes a referee's decision to bring the home fans to life.
Stoko for the difficult ball down the right flank and got it wrong. And then caught Osman as he played the ball away, and the referee's going to have a word with Stoko about that challenge.
Again, it's another example of players just struggling really when they're in possession, because it's such a difficult playing surface. It's like a glue pot out there. Players can't get the ball out of their feet. When they're looking up, it's just skipping. Look at the ball there, just skipping and jumping and allowing players to try and get a foot in. Just seen there from Skoko.
Stubbs fires it in again to Tim Cahill. Here's Davis. Clever and a dangerous ball in. Carsley. Davis again. That's not bad either. That was always going to be difficult for Arteta. Well, Mikel Arteta knows all about Spanish football. We've got some of that coming up later tonight on Sky, but before that, of course, the big one at the Emirates Stadium. Kick-off 4 o'clock, Sky Sports 1 and High Definition 1. A terrific game in prospect. Arsenal against Manchester United. McCulloch's header. Heskey battling well. Valencia forward and almost a good ball for McCulloch, almost.
Lescott read the situation well. If he hadn't have done Alan, I think Everton could have had problems there. Great run from McCulloch.
And at the other end now from Andrew Johnson. Valencia. Tried to slide it round the outside from McCulloch, but got it all wrong. Easy for Stubbs. However, he panicked a little and concedes the throw.
Wasn't a bad ball, was it? I mean, Stubbs certainly favourite, but again, comes back to what I said earlier, just playing that percentage ball.
Manzat swings it in this time. Carsley. Smashed it straight against Gilban. Gilban actually played a couple of games for Everton at the start of the season before moving here on deadline day in August. Just about sums up some of the play in this first half, I'm afraid.
Yeah, very frustrating, very disappointing. You can throw in all the excuses that we like or David Moyes might like, but it's about the ability of those players out there really to get the ball under control and show the sort of qualities that they have, and at the moment we're just not seeing that.
Chance now for Lanzak, on to Heskey. Was he fouled? He's got to look to his linesman. Flag stayed down. Here's Unsworth. Heskey, Kilban. Carsley there again, breaking up these Wigan attacks.
There's a lot of possession in the midfield area, particularly from Everton, but neither side really being able to then transform that to any real threatening opportunities at either end of the field, and subsequently both goalkeepers not had an awful lot to do.
Go back.
Cahill. The rain sweeps in again here as Lanzak picks up the loose ball for Wigan, and it just escaped the control of McCulloch again. I think the pitch had a lot to do with that. Here's Lescott. Skoko. On to the Dutch World Cup player Denny Lanzak. Better ball this time for Heskey. Now Baines. Crowd ordered him to shoot, but the chance never came.
Well, he had the opportunity to go a lot further than he should have done. I think that was down to Arteta. He just casually let Leighton Baines go inside, never really tracked him, relying on one or two teammates just to help him out.
Neville. Osman. Good turn to lose Lanzak. And the cross wasn't bad either. McCulloch with an excellent ball. Heskey manhandled by Stubbs.
Well, Alan Stubbs was complaining that when Emil Heskey was just trying to hold up the ball, he had a tug of Stubbs' shirt. But Alan Stubbs then just gets right across him with his arms, and I can understand why Howard Weber's given the decision the way of Wigan. That's a decent chance now from a set piece if they can find some quality in the shape of Skoko. Got a lot of big players in there, Hall, McCulloch, Heskey.
It's Lanzat who takes, and he's gone for the far post. And that's exactly where Howard expected him to go.
One thing you don't want really is the goalkeeper to be unopposed when he's coming and just picking out free kicks like that.
Arteta. Neville helps it on to Carsley. not opening up sufficiently quickly for Wigan. Davis. Now Cahill. On to Neville. Arteta did well. Neville back down the line. It was intended for Osman, but never got there. Heskey. Well, that's a bookable offence, surely, for Joseph Yobo.
That is brilliant, didn't he, Heskey? And I think that's a clear yellow card. Howard Webb gave an indication straight away that he was going to give a booking. Yobo just callously bringing out Emil Heskey. It's interesting the way that Heskey went away from Tim Cahill also. I think he seems to have a problem at the moment, Cahill. And that would be a massive blow to this Everton side if they were to lose him. Such an important player, but he seems to be struggling a wee bit.
He's just back in the team, of course, after missing 11 games with a knee injury. Skoko's free kick. That would be well declined. McCulloch with the shot wide.
Well, I think Everton have that little bit extra quality going through their side, but I think Wigan just have probably that greater determination at the moment. It's who's going to win that particular battle.
Arteta on Kilbane, he was holding him back.
It's just livened up now the game, hasn't it? A couple of incidents that well, I think he's a little bit fortunate there, Arteta, that he escaped without a yellow.
Just very generous. From a one-match suspension, hasn't he?
Well, very generous. Kilbane does very well and just holding him off, but a little bit of come dancing. It's surprising to get a yellow there.
Two of the Everton players are in danger of missing the big local derby against Liverpool in their next game if they are cautioned today. But he's not one of them.
So Arteta's going to test the patience of Howard Webb. And what the referee's just explained to him there is he didn't really look at the ball. What he's trying to do is affect position that Leighton Baines found himself in. So that's twice in quick succession from the young Spaniard. If he's not careful, he's going to end up with a yellow card. Probably half-time might just save him.
Well, Wigan have wasted the last two free kicks, placed them virtually into the hands of goalkeeper Tim Howard. Let's see if they can do better with this one. The Aussie Joseph Skoko will take it again. Same outcome. Back in by Lanzat. Paul has stayed forward and was grappling for possession there. And I think the free kick's gone against him. If not, it's a goal kick anyway.
It's a difficult one to judge, isn't it? But you can see there that they're both at it. And Howard Webb's a long way from the incident, and also you can see into the back of those two players, and the lines at the far side didn't signal for anything.
But it is a free kick. That's where it's being taken from. This could be the last chance for a goal in this first half. Pushing and shoving going on there, but it came to nothing, and nothing just about sums up, I'm afraid, the quality and entertainment value in a very disappointing 45 minutes here at the JJB, which is inevitably ended goalless. The brightest thing on display is Marcus Buckland's tie. Wigan Athletic ready to get the second half underway here, anxious to avoid a couple of unwanted club records, and they've already suffered 5 home defeats in a row, their worst ever losing sequence since they became a league club almost 30 years ago. No changes by either manager during the half-time interval. I'm sure we're all hoping for a more entertaining second 45 minutes here. Fitzhall for Wigan. The first ball forward dealt with by Joseph Yobo, who was cautioned in the first half by referee Howard Webb. David Unsworth with the first clearance for Wigan. Change of kit for the Everton players and the Wigan men as well. Very necessary in these awful conditions, the rain still driving in. Skoko gets that one clear. Neville pumping it back in towards Johnson. It's broken for Simon Davis. Couldn't get it under control quickly enough.
Well, he just slipped, didn't he, at a vital moment. Chill out Emerson Boyce to get in ahead of him. So if Davis is going to stay on this left-hand side, Arteta over on the right. It's where they ended the first half.
Lescott, Arteta and Johnson both battling for that ball, but Wigan get it clear to Kevin Kilban. Cleared by Stubbs. Neat little ball to Osman. And then Davis rather hurried his pass. Carsley's given it away. That hasn't happened too often. McCulloch up against Joseph Yobo, who just about recovered.
Very nearly did well, didn't he, McCulloch? Again, showing a real willingness and determination to work this Everton back four hard, as Emile Heskey did in the first half. And they won't mind this now, Wigan. Free kicks and get as many set pieces as possible. Get that ball in around the penalty spot and then pick up the bits and pieces.
Emile Heskey all day long has looked like the player most likely to cause Everton problems here. Now Valencia on the ball for that. Lay off to Lanzat. Took a deflection on the way, corner.
Just a little nick off Leon Osman. That surprised everybody really, with a short free kick. And it got a little bit tight, didn't it, for them, but when the ball finally came out to Lanzat, just the slightest of touches from Leon Osman. Well, these are vital moments, and it's a swirling wind. This is where you really need to hit the right spot from corner kicks. There, the muscle and the power of Hall and Unsworth.
Kilban takes it. Heskey coming in on the far post. It was deflected away from him. Skoko retrieves possession. Looks dangerous, this run. Well, Arteta knew what he was doing. Full credit to him for having the composure to do that in his own penalty box. And Johnson took the ball down beautifully. Was trying to stay with him and did enough.
A little bit unfortunate. Did so well, didn't he, to initially get the ball under control. It's been a bit of a lonely battle for Andy Johnson, in isolated for the best part of 48 minutes. It's a system that Everton play. They're trying to get the likes of Cahill, who looks as if he's recovered from a knock that he took just before half-time, getting him forward, and Osman.
Hanging in the wind again, made it difficult to judge for Carsley. Hall. Heskey climbed brilliantly. McCulloch. The layoff to Kilban. Total misunderstanding between Kilban and Baines.
It's just a poor angle really that Kevin Kilban played the ball into the path of Leighton Baines. It really made up a lot of yards, Leighton Baines, just to overlap Kevin Kilban, make a 2v1 situation. Just apologising, he knows that was a decent opportunity.
Oh, careful with the back pass on this pitch, you've got to be. And the foul goes against Emile Heskey.
It's been a good battle, hasn't it? Two centre forwards of Wigan against the two centre backs of Everton.
Ball gets it away from Cahill. Here's Baines, back to Lanzat. early on for him, was that?
Well, it was a great shame, you know. I mean, McCulloch does very well just to get his body in front of Alan Stubbs, but Emile Heskey had made a brilliant run. Lanzak just got his head up. Heskey's having a word with him now. Why didn't you play it into the space in behind? Well, in the end, they picked up a free kick. It was a clumsy challenge from Alan Stubbs. The Everton bench weren't happy.
The eyes have it. McCulloch gesturing to where he wants the ball played, and it wasn't bad. It was on his head.
Well, he did well. I mean, it wasn't an easy free kick to play because it's very straight, isn't it? Not an awful lot of angle on this, but Yobo just does enough in front of McCulloch.
Scored 4 goals this season, Lee McCulloch, who came up through the divisions with Wigan and has played over 200 games for them, more than any of their current squad. Here's Arteta for Everton. Overrun it. And they wonder why David Beckham wants to go to California for the next 5 years.
Yeah, fair point. A lot of hardy souls out there.
Johnson, challenged by Hall. They did well to get anything on that one. And the aerial battle continues here. Neville on to Carsley. It's turned out to be a great ball for Cahill, hooked on to Johnson, and that clearance has set up a counter-attack for Valencia. He seemed a bit reluctant to take the ball on himself.
Yeah, you just like him to be a little bit more positive at times. Valencia clearly got ability, but just lacking a little bit in confidence at the moment.
He's been out for a few games with a hamstring problem. Perhaps that's a factor. As it swung in high to Heskey again. McCulloch waiting for the drop down. Oh, and then he caught Yobo. A complete accident.
I'll tell you what, that really was a whack into the chest of Joseph Yobo. I mean, Emile Heskey does brilliant, really, to win the first header against Alan Stubbs. A real battle in there. And McCulloch trying the spectacular overhead kick. Well, he really does launch into this. Joseph Yobo heads the ball away. Takes a real crack in the ribs. He's recovered, he's back up on his feet, but that's what I talked about earlier, that contest between the two centre forwards and the two centre backs. A real uncompromising battle.
Tough lad Yobo, the Nigerian international, just picked himself up. Another free kick.
Chance to get one or two of the big boys forward. Fitzhall just joining Heskey and McCulloch.
Paul has never scored yet in his Wigan career. He's been in a relegation scrap before as well, of course, with Crystal Palace. He was in the Palace team that went down, in fact. Did brilliantly there, Cahill. Good recovery challenge by Baines, but the referee has decided it was a foul.
Well, I'm not convinced. I actually thought Leighton Baines got something of the ball there, or certainly enough of the ball, not to warrant a free kick. I think Paul Jewell agrees with me. He's absolutely furious.
As Cahill knocks it forward for Johnson. Came off Unsworth for Everton's first corner of the second half.
I tell you what, he'd be furious if they conceded a goal here, because he felt there was nothing wrong with that challenge from Leighton Baines.
And I think he's got a very good case. And again, in the swirling wind, if the delivery is right here, this is going to be very difficult for Kirkland. Well, he came and he hesitated and he gave the chance for Yobo.
Well, it's a big chance, and Emile Heskey's having a real go at his goalkeeper, because his uncertainty spread exactly that amongst his defenders there. You can see he came and then didn't really take charge of the situation, Chris Kirkland. And Joseph Yobo has a gilt-edged chance at the far post. Lee McCullough just goes to sleep a wee bit. Should have really dealt with it better. Look at Heskey's reaction.
And Yobo with a more effective header at the defensive end of the field for him. As Heskey goes down, but no free kick this time. Here's Lescott. Cahill with a flick on, Johnson anticipating that, and again there was no real understanding between defender and goalkeeper. Cahill goes down, Davis with a shot. I think he got a hand to that, Kirkland.
Well, they just kept the ball alive here. A real problem with Andy Johnson at the moment. They really got caught up in the tangle between Kirkland and David Unsworth. Well, he's shaking his head there. He's not happy. But again, just looking to work between defenders. Andy Johnson. David Unsworth, I think, makes the right decision. He can't really afford to allow his goalkeeper to come and collect that, but there was a real collision that affected Andy Johnson. It's a decent strike in the end from Davies, but that's a collision. And Kirkland took Andy Johnson out there. Interesting decision for the referee to make. Well, David Moyes sent a video in terms of the amount of times Andy Johnson gets caught in the box and probably hasn't had penalties. And I think when they reviewed it, 8 out of the 10 probably should have been given as penalties. Now, I'm not suggesting for one moment that was a penalty, but this is a hugely worrying moment because this is their main goal scorer. This is the player that really has made Everton into a force and perhaps challenging for a UEFA Cup position. And if he goes off now with a serious injury, that could really jeopardise Everton's chances. And it's a real worry. You can see the players all around Andy Johnson, the medical team.
Well, we had a very serious injury for Andre Oye in the match between Blackburn Rovers yesterday and Manchester City. It doesn't look as serious this time for Johnson, but serious enough to jeopardise his participation in the rest of this match.
Well, he's in a lot of pain at the moment, isn't he? And you can just see him, he's just working hard really. Chris Kirkland really launches into him there. I mean, David Unsworth clears the ball, so no real problem there. But Chris Kirkland made a big decision to come and try and get that ball, and all he really does is take out Andy Johnson. Well, those fans will be hoping and praying that it's not too serious. Johnson is a talisman. 9 goals this season.
Everton's record signing in distress. And how ironic that he might well have ended up playing here at Wigan Athletic. They made that big bid for him, but he chose Everton ahead of Wigan. A worrying moment for Everton fans as well as management.
This shows perhaps the prominence now of this youngster that's coming on in place of Andy Johnson. He's going to come on and achieve here ahead of probably James Beattie, but that's a massive worry now for Everton Football Club. The sight of Andy Johnson on a stretcher in a lot of agony.
Concern on the face of his manager. And as you say, it's not James Beattie who gets the vote to replace Johnson, but the 18-year-old Victor Anichebe, who came on as a half-time substitute last week against Reading. He's in real pain. He knows it's a bad one. And finally the corner is fired in by Arteta. And I've seen Anichebe a couple of times, and one thing I can say about him, he will enjoy the physical battle that this game has become.
Well, he's a handful. I've seen him a couple of times. Actually saw him in the reserve team against Newcastle early on in the season, and he really launched into the two centre-backs that evening and made it a very uncomfortable time, and that's the type of player he is.
Neville knocks it in his general direction. Kirkland with a very good take. Good goalkeeping there.
Well, that's better. I mean, he's been a little bit indecisive in the second half, Chris Kirkland, but on that occasion he really did come with a positive mind.
And if it's possible, the weather has just got worse in the last 5 minutes. Osman for Everton. Arteta. Forward for Cahill, that was the intention anyway. It was Unsworth with a clearance and a very effective one. Heskey. Only McCulloch up with him, now they're arriving from midfield, including Kilban nearest to him. Made it too easy really for Howard.
Great shame, because he got a few bodies in the box, but the game all of a sudden now is opening up, a little more space to be had. There's a bit more intent as well, I have to say, amongst the players to get a result and certainly produce a better performance.
Nijibi won't give up on that. Lescott did well, very well. When he fired it in, it was straight to Baines. Kilban. Better tempo to the game now. Baines. Here's Lanzat. The Dutchman goes long this time for McCulloch. Towering header away from Stubbs. Neville for Everton. Straight to Hall. Clever little ball by Valencia. Boyce. Skoko onto Baines. Heskey. Rodriguez to Valencia again. Just tried to drop his shoulder and lose Osman, but Osman was equal to him. And now Davis on the break for Everton finds Anichebe. Osman. Davis quickly on to Neville. Simon Davis again. Good build up this by Everton. Arteta. And that flicked off Baines for a corner.
Well, you mentioned earlier, it's just a better pace and tempo about both sides' performance now. Seen a far better game. Well, the last corner kick that Everton had, Joseph Yobo probably should have scored. Really, Wigan can't afford to go to sleep now in defending against this.
There's an awful lot going on in the middle of that penalty area. In the end, it was Kevin Kilban who met the ball first. Arteta. Anichebe. Big shout for a penalty, and this time Mr. Webber's given it.
Well, I said, this young man is very powerful, and that really is about brute strength. But I tell you what, the referee has an awful long look at this. And just have a look at his linesman. I don't think that he flags. The challenge from David Unsworth is wild, and a player of his experience ought to have known better here. I mean, really, the youngster's not going anywhere. There's no real reason why David Unsworth needs to go to ground.
It was certainly the second challenge I think it was given for, rather than the first collision. And it's Mikel Arteta with a chance to give Everton the lead. No problem. Sweet as you like. Everton in front.
Well, that's a terrific strike. It really was from Arteta. He's one of the few players on show that has shown moments, and I emphasise the word moments, of composure. And he really needed to be composed here, but he really does strike it well. Goalkeeper goes the right way, but he gets nowhere near it. Such is the venom of the strike from Mikel Arteta. Well, David Unsworth against his old side, certainly making a rash decision in terms of the challenge that he makes against the youngster.
the 65th minute. Cahill helping the ball onto Anichebe. He brought down by Unsworth. Arteta's sweetly struck penalty, and Everton are in front. Wigan have made a substitution, by the way. Fitz Hall has gone off to be replaced by Ryan Taylor.
Taylor will go and play it right back. Boyce will play centre back alongside Unsworth. But what this young man will do, I mean, he's had horrific injuries over the last 2 years, but he will get forward. Very much a big part of his game, and I think Paul Jewell's going to need that from one or two of his players now to get back into this game. It's such a disappointing run, haven't they, of late?
Wigan facing the possibility of their 6th successive home defeat. They've only got 22 points from 22 games, and as anyone will tell you, that, I'm afraid, is relegation form. And Anichebe, as we thought, didn't take long to make an impact coming off the bench for Everton. Away by Stubbs. Scott knows he's not going to get a free ride there. Heskey pursuing him all the way, but it is a goal kick.
A lot of big performances out there from these Wigan players. I mean, not a huge amount of disappointments in recent weeks, but they really need to show a lot of character and determination. I mean, the manager's got that in abundance. The question mark is there enough of his players who can drag themselves up to a level that can get back into this football match?
He's been suffering from flu all week as well, Paul Jewell. If Everton go on to win here, they'll move up 2 places to 7th in the Barclays Premiership table. Anichebe again making a nuisance of himself, shall we say. Very strong lad. Made 20 appearances in the first team now. Started a couple of games as well recently. Born in Nigeria, but he was brought up on Merseyside. Lanza. Spoke on to Taylor. Been desperately unlucky with injuries, Ryan Taylor. Must be a relief for him first to be training with his teammates again, never mind. Back in the side. Clearance by Stubbs. There's Unsworth. Up to Baines. Flick on, finds Heskey. Good challenge again by Carsley.
He's done that job very well, hasn't he? We talked right at the very top the importance of Lee Carsley in this team in terms of protecting the 2 centre-backs, especially on a day like today. I mean, it's such a difficult day to get the ball down and be composed, and you really have to put in a shift and work hard for your team, and Lee Carsley's certainly done that.
Spoke thought about taking it quickly, leaves it to Taylor in the end. Valencia, helped on by Lanza to Heskey. The layoff misplaced. Spoko doing well to win it back. McCulloch. Here's Baines. Too close again to the goalkeeper. Everton with the threat on the break now. With the pace of Davis. Boyce then catching Anichebe. Free kick.
Paul Jewell's almost on the pitch alongside Alan Webb. 4th official is just having to pull him back into the technical area. He's going to have to be very careful, Paul Jewell. I mean, you can understand his frustration. He just feels that this player got the ball before Anichebe.
I think he's had a pretty stern warning there, Paul Jewell, that if he steps out of line again, he could be watching the rest of the game from the stands. As a former Liverpool player, there would be nothing that would delight those Everton fans more than seeing him red carded. Here's Baines. Lanza. Baines picks out Heskey. Skoko. On to Taylor. Keeping in very good shape here, Everton, making it difficult for Wigan. As Taylor swings one in, and that came off the defender for a corner.
He's certainly had a little bit, hasn't he? Ryan Taylor on this right-hand side. This has been introduced. And again, set piece. It might well be Wigan's best opportunity to get back into this game.
Heskey has been a big danger to Everton throughout. Can he finally make that count here? No, he never got anywhere near him. That wins it back though. And now Heskey. Blocked by Yobo. Everton concede the throw.
Well, no one can question his attitude today or his performance. He really has given everything for the cause, Emil Heskey.
McCulloch gets it. Flick on. Testing Stubbs.
There's actually one or two Wigan players were just caught back on their heels there. That little flick was delicate enough to put Wigan in a dangerous position.
And this time it was Arteta who came to meet it first. Les got up well. And this is Wigan's best little spell of possession in the game. Taylor, long for Heskey. And off Yobo for another Wigan corner. That's really encouraged the fans here.
He's done very well in this second period, in particular, Joseph Yobo. Really have thrown a lot up front towards Emil Heskey, and Yobo really in the main has been the player to deal with Heskey.
The manager looks on anxiously. And this time it's Taylor who'll take an outswinging corner. Wasn't bad. And he was first to reach the clearance. Skoko. Lands at Skoko again. Difficult to control the ball when it's hitting divots all the time. And Lescott's clearance wasn't the best. Pull back. Here's Baines. It's desperate defending for Everton at the moment as Taylor goes forward and picks out Valencia. Lots of blue shirts ahead of him in the box. Well defended again by Joseph Yobo. He really has been a rock.
Well, I wondered how Wigan might respond to going 1-0 down. I have to say, they really have put Everton under a lot of pressure, and Joseph Yobo in particular has been absolutely outstanding at the heart of that defence. But just look at the amount of possession that Wigan have enjoyed. That's the last 5 minutes. They really have worked hard to put Everton under pressure. Yobo in particular really has stood firm.
McCulloch did well to reach that first. Valencia. Taylor. Just got the angle wrong. By Carsley to Osman. And Stubbs forced into the early clearance. Taylor launches it in towards Heskey on the near post. And Howard just about prevented the corner.
They're having to really stick together, aren't they, Everton? A decent test for them, find themselves 1-0 ahead and make sure that they see it through. Just 15 minutes plus.
Here's Valencia. Heskey. McCulloch. Chance here for McCulloch. Goal kick.
I think Leon Osman just does enough, you know, to put off McCulloch, but this is a great move. Ball forward by Valencia. What a great first touch that is by Emil Heskey. And McCulloch certainly has time to take his sights.
Well, we can get a word now on the nature of Andrew Johnson's injury by joining Guy Havard down at the touchline.
Yes, Alan, it's a problem with the left ankle. He's in the dressing room at the moment, but he's soon to go to hospital to have an X-ray at Wigan Infirmary to see if there is a break in that ankle.
Well, let's hope it's good news for Andrew Johnson and Everton. Quarter of an hour to go here, quarter of an hour for Wigan to rescue something from this game. The team in their position really needs 3 points, but at the moment they would happily settle for one. Arteta, Nichebe's layoff, too heavy, but Everton keep possession. Neville. Better from Anichebe, much better. Arteta, the goal scorer. Neville. Anichebe took that again well and wins a free kick for his side.
It just made life difficult, hasn't it? The two centre-backs, so it was a difficult afternoon really in many respects for Andy Johnson, even more so now with his injury. But Anichebe, different type of player, just looking to back into the two centre-backs, and he's won a couple of free kicks and of course won that vital penalty which separates the two sides at the moment.
And here's the man who scored from the spot, Mikel Arteta, just waiting for Jolyon Lescott to get forward, edge of the Wigan penalty area. Lescott starts his run now. Davis with a wild effort.
So there's some activity down on the Wigan bench, and you can understand Paul Jewell going to throw a body or two on really to try and change the course of this game. Looks of it's young Cottrell, who's got a little bit of pace. Probably play down this right hand side, I would have thought.
They are short of key players at the moment, Wigan, in particular Henri Camero, who's been out for 5 games with a knee injury. Ryan Dezeu, who holds things together at the back, is injured as well. Paul Sharner, who scored 3 goals against Everton in recent fixtures, he's another on the casualty list. And they don't have a big enough squad to be able to withstand those kind of losses. Luis Valencia, who himself has been out injured, and has only just come back after the 7th match absence, makes way for David Cottrell, the youngster signed from Bristol City in August. Long by Yobo to Anichebe, who's battled away well with Unsworth. Forward quickly for McCulloch. It was a great header, but just too much on it for Heskey, his intended target.
I'll tell you what, Evan wouldn't have been happy because Chris Kirkland's probably gained about 10-15 yard advantage there when he took that free kick.
Osman, Carsley. Anichebe keeps chasing. He gives up on nothing, this lad. Good one for Cottrell to control, but Lescott had to give away the throw. 11 minutes remaining. Here's Taylor for Wigan. Skoko. Reared up then off the divot again. Kilvan. Skoko. Not accuracy on the ball. Cahill.
So he's going to get another game under his belt, Tim Cahill. David Moyes talking at the top of the programme that he might just wanted to bring him off a little bit early last week, and didn't have that option really. He knows that Tim Cahill is capable of getting goals for him. probably needs him as well today, such as the nature of the battle. We're going to have had the majority of the possession in the last 15-20 minutes.
Time running out for the home side. They finished a highly creditable 10th in their first season at this level. Well, Bayer need to be this time. He certainly made an impact, you could say, since coming off the bench.
Well, they got a couple of decent youngsters that they're grooming from the academy. One is Anichebe that we're watching at the moment. There's another young boy called James Vaughan who made a big impact. And of course he played, I think it was the age of what, 16, 17?
Yeah, one of the youngest ever for Everton. Cottrell. Here's Taylor. Got some distance on the last throw in from this sort of position. Goes short this time to Cottrell. Clever turn and a great ball as well, but well spotted by Howard as Heskey came flying in.
Did well, Tim Howard, just as if it held up a wee bit in the wind.
And 3 of Wigan's next 4 games are away from home, and that includes a trip to Arsenal, so it's not going to get any easier for them in terms of the fixtures they face. But for a team in their position, I guess every game is difficult.
It's going to be so important. You talked about the key players that they're missing. How close are they to getting back to fitness? They haven't got a game next weekend, so it just gives them a little bit of extra rest and recuperation.
There's Kilban. And now Baines. Chance for a shot. Oh! Smacked against the angle of crossbar and post. And Heskey couldn't convert the rebound. Skoko so close to drawing Wigan level.
Well, that's a great strike. I think the key to this is his first touch, really, in terms of when Leighton Baines played the ball into his feet. Now, so unfortunate, really. Wigan not to be back on level terms.
Taylor's corner kick. Oh, straight through the crowd of players. Desmond didn't seem to know where it was. Now Arteta can bring Everton clear on the break. He's only got Anichebe up in support at the moment. Very good defending by Baines. Baines again. Taylor keeps on running. Got his cross in. It was a deflection off the boot, so that's a corner kick.
He's done very well, Ryan Taylor, on this right-hand side, but it's Skoko that very nearly everybody was talking about moments earlier. Just gets it out of his feet. It's a terrific strike. Tim Howard with no chance whatsoever, and he'd be delighted it's rattled against the crossbar, and then Lescott deals with the rebound.
Once again, the corner cleared everyone. Lanzak. It's got to go in long, and that's where it goes. Heskey getting up strongly. Ainsworth has remained forward, but Neville calmly back to his keeper.
Well, they've been putting a lot of pressure, this back four, and they really have stood up to it. Look right across the line from Neville through to Yobo, who's been absolutely terrific in this second half. And well, this is a great strike. It really was from Skoko. You can see there that Tim Howard is just totally taken out of the situation.
Skoko's so close to what would have been his first ever Wigan goal.
It'd be ironic, wouldn't it, a day like this, that we would have had a Spaniard and an Australian scoring goals.
Lescott. Good first touch there for Westgard, and Wigan have got the throw into the last 5 minutes. McCulloch. Westgard hooks it away from danger, but the second ball seems to be always won by a Wigan player now. And it goes from Taylor. Yobo gets it half clear, only to Kilban though. Heskey's in the middle, too high for him. And Westgard had time to let it bounce and let his goalkeeper arrive.
Just can't find an end product, can they, Paul Jewell's team at the moment? Had a lot of pressure, kept the ball for good periods, good composure in the middle of the park, but final third, just not really had that cutting edge. Certainly not enough to break down what has been a very good Everton back four display.
Challenged by Kilban, the referee saw nothing wrong with it. Bates. Here's Kilban again. He makes the tackle this time, and it is a free kick now.
It's Leon Osman that brought the full force of that challenge. Skoko. Again, he just gets caught up between Skoko and Carsley involved, and again just working hard, Osman, to protect his back foot. Much in similar fashion to what Lee Carsley's done for the best part of this game. Or can they come up with something now? Time running out for them.
Paul Jewell's team have had a number of set pieces that they've failed to make the most of, and there's another one. A wonderful job here, Paul Jewell. It's his 6th season in charge, which actually makes him the longest serving manager in Wigan's history. But he's come up against a brick wall in this campaign, and there's no doubt that it's going to be a long, hard winter for Wigan Athletic.
Well, the side have really pressed as much as they possibly can, but he knows that at this level you need to find the necessary quality.
Emil Heskey. And it's the travelling Everton fans, and a very impressive number they have behind the goal, that are making all the noise at the moment. And time for a replacement again by David Moyes. Tim Cahill gets a short break, and James Beattie gets a short opportunity to impress. Also came on late last week against Reading, and he actually scored a penalty against Wigan earlier this season in the 2-2 draw at Goodison. One of only 2 goals he has got this campaign. Here's Davis. Skipped past Taylor impressively. Michoud was waiting for the ball in flat in the 6-yard box, but it never arrived as Heskey wins another header. Final minute here at the JJB in what's been a pretty depressing day for the home fans. Neville. It was unorthodox, wasn't it?
I have to say, just looking at James Beattie, it's the fittest I've seen him look for an awful long time. Lost a lot of weight, considering he hasn't had too much match action.
Skoko trying to hammer it down to the right wing to Cottrell, and it finds its target as well. Prescott for a throw. They've got to keep their foot on the pedal now, Wigan. No time for dilly-dallying. Taylor. They're going to be 5 minutes of stoppage time. That will lift the home fans and players. But here's an Ichibi for Everton. Davis.
Did well there, the youngster, and Ichibi. He's certainly second favourite to win that race against Emerson Boyce, but not only did he win it, he's earned his side a throw in towards that Wigan defensive third. He'll just be quite content to try and keep this ball down this end of the field.
Davis has a good ball as well for Arteta. Beatty with him. Neville running in down the right. Arteta goes for it. 2 for the Spaniard. Delight for Everton. Despair for Wigan.
Well, this game, for the best part, has been devoid of quality. But when you see this goal again, it just reminds you for one moment that we have been watching a Premier League game, because this is a terrific piece of play from the visitors. The way they walked the ball wide, but what a brilliant ball into the danger area. Just inviting Mikel Arteta just to get anything on the ball, and that's what he did with his left foot. But what a brilliant ball that was by Phil Neville. Certainly cut out the goalkeeper with the pace of the ball, and Arteta enjoys another moment.
6 goals for the season now for Mikel Arteta, who was Everton's Player of the Year in his first full season at Goodison, and is likely to get a few votes again in this campaign. Skoko helps it on at the other end to kill Bang. Well defended by Yobo, who's had an excellent game.
He's been magnificent, particularly in the second half. I mean, slightly frustrating and disappointment for Paul Jewell and his assistant Chris Hutchins. But that's about the quality I talked about earlier, that Wigan perhaps haven't quite had in the final third.
Taylor. Hands that on to Unsworth. It's found its way through to Cottrell briefly. Cottrell still available here. Everton have done the ugly stuff well today, and they've come up with the quality moments too, particularly him. Inside Davis, knocked it back instead to Taylor. It was a great ball in. Oh, good save by Howard in the end, although he made hard work of it.
Well, he reacted very quickly, didn't he, Tim Howard? I think he just read the situation. Fabulous ball in from the right hand side. Taylor has definitely made an impact down this side of the field, and it's McCulloch who thought he'd just done enough to maybe get his side back into the game. But this is the goal again. It's a fabulous ball from Phil Neville. He just cuts out the goalkeeper. Oh, much to that man's delight, and he knows that's game, set and match.
And when you look around the JJB at the moment, there's an awful lot of empty seats in the Wigan sections. It's only that full house, as far as Everton are concerned, behind the goal that have stayed on to the end. Big win this for Everton. It'll lift them into the top 7, but Wigan remain just 2 points above the relegation places. Ichibi, cross in, Baines had to clear. Everton get a late corner.
Well, the real worry really for Everton is how serious an injury they've got to Andy Johnson. And as well as they've done, and they really have grinded out a result today, particularly in the second half, because we're going to put them under a lot of pressure.
Kirkland delivers it upfield as quickly as he can. Heskey following it. Into the feet of Cottrell. Stayed calm, good save, back to McCulloch.
Well, they rolled Bill up a wee bit there. But a couple of decent chances that they've had, Wigan. If they capitalise on them.
It is clearly not Wigan's day. Nicheby. He's done really well. For the first time in their history as a league club, Wigan Athletic have suffered 8 defeats in a row. 6 successive home defeats as well. Relegation form for them. Everton move up into the top 7 of the Premiership table thanks to Arteta's 2 goals, 1 from the penalty spot, 1 a neat conversion from Neville's brilliant right-wing cross. David Moyes' team heading in the right direction. Wigan heading for trouble. Wigan Athletic 0, Everton 2.
Well, that was a really durable performance by David Moyes' side. They had to battle long and hard in the second half when Wigan came back well following that first goal that they'd conceded. But Everton held on. 2 for Arteta. And a very healthy travelling contingent will make the 20-odd mile journey home extremely happy. Apart, of course, from that nagging concern over Andrew Johnson's injury. And if we do get any more information about that before we go off air, we'll let you know. But for the moment, they're just going to celebrate 3 points and an improved position in the top half of the table. Never been lower than 11th or higher than 6th this season. Well, they're up to 7th.
Lee, that really was a hard-fought victory today.
It was a tough team, you know. They've I don't think that's 7 games now, so we knew it, especially with the conditions as well. But luckily enough, Mikel's come up trumps and got 2 goals for us.
Yes, it looked like it possibly was heading for a 0-0, Mikel, until the penalty. What was going through your mind when you stepped up for that one?
Just to put it in the net. That was a very important game for us. We want to keep up there, you know, play UEFA Cup next season, and we had to win these games, and we done it, and we've got a tough one next one against Liverpool, so we need the 3 points today.
And a second goal for you as well, late on, that sealed it.
Yeah, that's what the manager is asking me to get in the box and try to get more goals, so that's what I've done.
It's sort of like Spanish weather out there today, wasn't it?
Unbelievable. No, the conditions were really bad. The pitch is awful, to be honest, and they play really high tempo as well, so it's not easy to play against them.
Lee, are you the sort of player that enjoys those conditions, that battle?
Not really. I prefer it when it's sunny and, you know, pitch is beautiful now. Now we knew it was going to be a difficult game when the conditions were like that. It was more suitable for rugby league, I suppose.
On a serious note, the injury to Andrew Johnson, what were your thoughts and how did you see it?
I know that he collided with Chris Kirkland, so I mean he's a big fella, so he's hopefully he'll be okay. We've not been in the dressing room yet, so hopefully he's okay.
It would be a big miss, wouldn't he?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, he's a fantastic player.
Mikel, hopefully there'll be good news on Andrew Johnson and good news really on Everton for the rest of the season. What are your aims now? UEFA Cup?
That's what we want. I think that was the aim from the start of the season, and it's gonna be really tough because there are some good teams as well fighting for that. But we're gonna try it. The important game we've got next week as well is gonna see if we are capable to do it.
Well done today. 2 goals, but not enough to win the Barclays Bubbly.
He was the man today.
He was the top man.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
We'll talk about your wonderful win in a minute, but can you update us on Andrew Johnson's injury?
Well, he's been taken to hospital. It's somewhere between his ankle and his lower shin, so we're hoping there's nothing there. We're not sure. When we came off, we felt a bit more hopeful that there's no real damage, but obviously we won't know until it's been x-rayed and scanned. So hopefully later on this evening we'll be able to give you an answer.
Do you know what Andrew's feeling about it was?
No, because when I came in he was away, he'd gone to hospital already, so I've not had a chance to speak to him. But hopefully it's not too bad.
Be a big loss for you, wouldn't it?
Oh, it'll be a massive loss. He's been a terrific player for us, and hopefully it's not too serious, as I say.
We'll keep our fingers crossed on that. A hard-fought win today, I think that's the way to put it. It was a grinding result, wasn't it?
Well, I don't think MD's going to come to Wigan and get it any other way. The conditions for football weren't good for both teams. You know, the pitch was really soft and not stable at all. Blustery wind, but we got there in the end. We wanted to be dogged and determined in our performance. We wanted to give ourselves a chance of winning the game, and we done that by making sure we didn't concede any goals in the first half, especially.
Did you have to change your approach at all because of the pitch?
Not really. I think that it possibly suited the way Wigan played early in the first half better than it did. You know, we wanted to try and play our way through, but with the pitch being so soft, it made it difficult. But in the end, we kept at it and got there.
It was a confident penalty, wasn't it, from Mikel?
Very good penalty kick, and you know, it was a penalty kick. I've had a chance to see it, and well taken.
I think he was just as pleased with the second. You've told him to get more goals from midfield.
Yeah, we have. I didn't know. I get told by the media yesterday he hadn't scored many away from home, and so today he's come away and scored 2, albeit one a penalty, but one in open play as well. And you know, Wigan made it really hard for us today. You know, they were tough. They were determined to try and get a result. So we knew how difficult the game would be.
Moving up the table, what are your realistic ambitions for this season?
Well, it'll always be to make sure you're in the Premier League first and foremost. We're certainly getting much closer to the points total, which I think will make that happen. But we're looking up. You know, we're trying to catch the teams above us. We're looking to try and get in the top grouping if we can. I
know you'd like to be in the FA Cup next week, but is it a benefit of sorts to have a fortnight off before the big derby?
No, I don't think it is. I think I'd rather be playing. I think I'd rather be competitive and keep ourselves ready for whatever comes along next. But you know, we want to enjoy this one because it's been we've not won often enough on our travels this year, and I don't care what position you're in or who you play in the Premier League. Any win away from home is hard to come by, and this one was really hard to come by today.
And just one final word. I know you keep your cards quite close to your chest, but in terms of transfers, are you hoping to do any business in or out in the next few days?
I'm hoping to do some business. It's been tough, but we've always been looking around, and you know, I'm getting a little bit more hopeful something might happen for me sometime next week.
Everyone says it's tough. Has this been the hardest January you can remember?
I don't think it's really the hardest January. I thought last year was worse because we felt we needed a centre forward this time last year. We couldn't find one. We had to hang on. We actually went on a good run, and we ended up getting Andy Johnson at the end of the season. So maybe sometimes saving your money and keeping it for the springtime when the prices aren't quite as rich and maybe more available. But I think it tends to be teams near the bottom of the league or maybe the top of the Championship or top of the other divisions trying to gain promotion, or the teams who do more business at this time of the year.
Well done today.
Thank you.